Okay, so today we're going to be diving into something, well, pretty heavy.
Yeah,
It's uh it's a type of heartbreak, I think, that's like particularly tough.
definitely.
That's that feeling when the person that you love leaves you
Mm-hmm.
and for your best friend.
Ugh, it's the worst.
And you're probably here listening to this because you're either going through it
Yeah,
or you know somebody who is.
right.
And either way you're wanting to figure out how to deal with this, how to understand it,
Exactly.
maybe even find some comfort,
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
So, yeah, so we're here to kind of unpack all of that.
Yeah,
And I think one of the things that makes this so much harder than just a regular breakup
totally.
is that it feels like a double betrayal,
Oh, absolutely.
right? It's like you're being hit from both sides.
It is, yeah. And it's not just the romantic relationship ending, you know?
Right.
You're also losing a friend and that bond that you had with your best friend.
Yeah,
That just makes the betrayal cut even deeper, I think.
absolutely. And the source material actually uses this phrase, double loss,
Hmm.
which I think is really accurate.
It is. It really captures it perfectly.
It does.
And it can lead to a whole whirlwind of emotions,
Yeah.
you know? Grief, anger, jealousy, even questioning your own self-worth.
Oh, for sure.
It's just messy.
They use the word whirlwind in the source, too, to talk about how you feel.
Yeah.
And I think that's so true. It's like you get caught in this storm of all these different emotions.
Yeah, you do.
And you just don't even know how to process it.
Totally. And one of the first things you might feel is just this intense grief.
Ah,
And not just for the romantic relationship, but for the friendship too.
that's so true.
You're losing a part of your history, your support system.
Totally.
It hurts on a whole other level.
It does.
Yeah.
And then comes the anger, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And I think with anger in this situation, it's almost like,
It's hard to know where to direct it.
exactly.
Is it at your ex, at your friend, maybe even yourself?
Yeah, do you blame yourself for not seeing it coming?
Right. It can shift back and forth.
Totally.
Like you're on an emotional roller coaster.
That makes sense.
One minute you're furious at your ex, and the next you're heartbroken over your friend.
Yeah.
And then, there's the jealousy,
Oh, gosh, yeah.
which can be just agonizing.
Yeah, that's got to be especially hard.
It is.
To see them together, like,
Right.
happy while you're dealing with this loss, the double loss.
It's a constant reminder.
Yeah, it's like salt in the wound.
Yeah, it is.
Have you heard from any people who have gone through this about how they dealt with that aspect of it?
I have actually, one listener in the source material talked about how hard that was.
Oh, really?
They said it felt like losing two people at once, and seeing their ex and former best friend together was just too much.
Ugh, yeah. I can only imagine.
So they actually decided to unfollow both of them on social media
Oh, wow.
to give themselves space to heal, at least digitally.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You were talking about creating distance. And I think that's something a lot of people struggle with.
Absolutely.
So practically, what does that even look like?
Yeah.
I mean, should you unfriend them on social media? Should you avoid places they might be? Like, how do you do that?
It's really about giving yourself the space, the emotional and physical space you need to heal without constantly being triggered.
Yeah.
So yeah, unfriending them on social media, that could be a good first step.
Okay.
You might want to avoid places, they frequent, at least for a while.
Makes sense.
And it's not about being petty or anything. It's about protecting yourself.
Yeah, just protecting your own heart, your own well-being.
Exactly. During a vulnerable time.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
almost like hitting the pause button on those relationships so that you can kind of catch your breath
Exactly.
and process how you feel.
Yeah, just prioritize your healing.
Yeah.
And while it's tempting to just wallow,
Yeah.
the source really emphasizes that allowing yourself to grieve is so important.
Okay.
You need to allow yourself to grieve.
That makes sense.
These feelings are valid,
Uh-huh.
and pushing them down won't help.
And I think people forget that sometimes.
They do.
Like you have to let yourself feel it.
You do.
But I don't think grieving is just like crying and being sad.
No, it's
Way more complex
It's more than that.
than that.
Yeah, it's about acknowledging all of the emotions.
Okay.
Sadness, the anger, the confusion,
Yeah.
even the moments of denial,
Right.
and letting yourself feel those fully
Yeah.
without judging yourself.
Okay, so no shame.
No shame.
Got it.
Yeah, because bottling them up just prolongs the process.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So
Yeah.
even though these feelings are intense,
Mm-hmm.
the source does offer hope.
Yeah,
It talks about moving forward.
it does.
And I think that's what people need to hear.
Yeah.
It's not just about getting over it,
No.
but it's about growing from it.
Excellent.
So how do we do that? How do we even begin to move forward when it feels like our world has been turned upside down?
Well, alongside creating distance and allowing yourself to grieve,
Hmm.
the source suggests focusing on self-care.
Okay.
And I know that's a term that gets thrown around a lot.
It does.
But in this context, it's
Yeah.
really about actively healing.
So it's not just like bubble baths and face masks.
Right. Although those can be helpful.
They can.
Yeah, but it's about making conscious choices
Yeah.
that nourish you on a deeper level.
So tuning into what you need
Yeah,
and figuring out how to actually cope in healthy ways.
exactly. And that could be anything from journaling,
Okay.
to process your anger,
Yeah.
to joining a support group,
Got
to
it.
combat the feelings of isolation.
Yeah. And I love that you bring up support groups because I think so often
Yeah.
when we're hurting, we tend to isolate ourselves.
We do.
But hearing from other people who've been through similar situations, it can be so powerful.
It can be incredibly validating. It reminds you that you're not alone.
Right.
And that healing is possible.
Exactly. And, you mentioned earlier how tough it is to see your ex and your former best friend together.
Right.
Well, another listener in the source material talks about how this kind of betrayal impacted their ability to trust
Real.
long term.
Wow.
They said it made them question everything they thought they knew about love and friendship.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, it's not just the immediate pain, but it's this fear
Right.
that it will forever change your ability to trust and to love again.
And that's a valid fear.
Yeah.
It forces you to confront some really tough truths
Mm,
about yourself and the people around you.
absolutely. Yeah, it shakes your faith in your own judgment.
It does.
It makes you wonder if you can ever truly trust anyone again.
Right. And that's,
Yeah, it's almost like your internal compass
yeah,
got thrown way off course.
it did.
So how do you even begin to trust yourself again?
It takes time and self-compassion.
Self-compassion. Okay.
Yeah. It's so important to remember that you made the best choices you could with the information you had at the time. Don't get stuck in the past, second-guessing yourself.
That's such a crucial point. We can't
Lovely.
change the past, but we can learn from it and use those lessons to build a stronger future. Speaking of building, the source mentions rebuilding trust as a key part of moving forward. But how do you even begin to trust again after such a deep betrayal? Not just in others, but also in your own judgment.
Rebuilding trust is a process, and it starts with self-compassion. You need to forgive yourself for not knowing what you couldn't have known. Remember, you're human, and we all make mistakes.
It's like giving yourself permission to be imperfect, to learn from those imperfections, and to move forward with greater wisdom. But it's not just about trusting yourself again. It's also about learning to trust other people again. And that can feel terrifying after what you've been through.
You're absolutely right. Opening yourself up to new connections after experiencing this kind of pain takes courage. But it's also a testament to your resilience and your belief in the power of human connection. The source material reminds us that there are good people out there, people who will treat you with the respect and kindness you deserve.
It's like that saying, one bad apple doesn't spoil the whole bunch. Just because you encountered two people who hurt you doesn't mean everyone will.
Exactly. And exploring new friendships can be incredibly healing. It's not about replacing the people you've lost, but about broadening your support system and gaining new perspectives.
It's like adding new colors to your palette, creating a richer and more vibrant picture of life and relationships. And while it might feel daunting at first, the rewards can be immense.
They absolutely can. You might find that these new connections bring you a sense of joy and belonging that you didn't even realize you were missing.
Now, something else the source brings up that I think a lot of people in this situation grapple with is the idea of eventually having a conversation with their ex or former best friend. It's presented as an option, not a necessity, and something to consider only when and if you feel ready. What are your thoughts on this?
I think it's important to remember that there's no right or wrong answer here. Some people find that having a conversation brings a sense of closure or helps them understand what happened. Others find it more painful than helpful. It's a deeply personal decision, and it's crucial to honor your own needs and feelings.
So it's not about forcing yourself to have a conversation if it doesn't feel right, or if you sense it might set you back in your healing journey.
Exactly. And if you do decide to have a conversation, go into it with realistic expectations, it's unlikely to magically erase the pain or provide all the answers you're looking for.
It's not about getting an apology or trying to change their minds. It's more about understanding their perspective. Maybe even finding some peace with what happened if that's possible for you.
And it's important to remember that even if you choose not to have a conversation, it doesn't diminish the validity of your feelings or the legitimacy of your pain. You are allowed to feel hurt, angry, and betrayed.
This experience has undoubtedly shaken you to your core, but it doesn't have to define you. In fact, it can be a catalyst for incredible personal growth.
You're so right. This experience, as challenging as it has been, can help you clarify your values, reevaluate your priorities, and deepen your understanding of what you truly want and need in your relationships.
It's like going through a fire and emerging stronger, more resilient, and with a clearer sense of who you are and what you deserve.
That's a beautiful way to put it. It's about taking those broken pieces and forging something new, something stronger, something that reflects the wisdom you've gained through this experience.
And that wisdom, that strength will carry you forward as you rebuild your life and create new, healthy, and fulfilling relationships.
And remember, you're not alone in this. There are countless others who have walked a similar path, who understand the depth of your pain, and who have come out the other side stronger and wiser.
Connecting with others who have been through something similar can be incredibly healing. It can remind you that you're not the only one who has ever felt this way, and that healing is possible. There are support groups, online forums, and even books written by people who have navigated this kind of heartbreak and emerged stronger. Don't hesitate to reach out and find the support you need.
Absolutely. Sharing your story, listening to others, and knowing that you're not alone can make a world of difference.
It really is powerful to share your experience and to connect with others who get it, especially when you're going through something as tough as this.
Yeah, it can make a huge difference.
It really can. And, as we wrap up our deep dive here, I want to circle back to that question from the source material about how this experience can reshape our definition of healthy relationships.
Right.
It's such a good question to think about, don't you think?
I think so. It really encourages us to take everything we've learned
Uh-huh.
and use it to create stronger, healthier, more fulfilling relationships moving forward.
Yeah, it's about being able to spot those red flags earlier, setting better boundaries, and most importantly, choosing partners and friends who share your values.
Absolutely.
You know, people who will actually treat you the way you deserve to be treated.
With kindness and respect.
Exactly. You're not settling anymore.
Nope.
You're being really intentional about who you let into your life.
Right. And it's not just about what you're getting from those relationships.
Yeah.
It's about what you're giving, too.
That's true.
Healthy relationships, they go both ways.
For sure, for sure.
They're built on a respect,
Uh-huh.
open and honest communication, and, just that willingness to be there for each other.
Yeah, through thick and thin, it's about building that safe space,
Mm-hmm.
where you feel seen, where you feel valued for who you truly are.
Exactly. And knowing that you deserve that
Yeah,
kind of love and respect.
you do. And I hope that's what you find, as you move forward from this.
I do too.
I hope you emerge with an even deeper understanding of yourself
Yes.
and a stronger sense of your own worth.
And the ability to create relationships
Yeah,
that truly light you up.
absolutely. It might feel like the end of the world right now,
I know.
but it really is just a new beginning.
It is.
It's a chance to rebuild, to reconnect, to create a life that's even more vibrant and even more meaningful than before.
It's a journey,
Yeah,
not a destination.
and there will be bumps along the way.
Oh, for sure.
But remember, healing is possible.
It is.
Trust, it can be rebuilt.
But can.
And love, in all its forms, it's still out there,
Absolutely. And you
waiting for you.
are strong.
Yeah,
You are worthy of love.
and you will get through this.
You will. And when you do, you'll come out even stronger, more resilient, and more capable of creating the kind of love and connection you deserve.
And don't forget to reach out for support
Yes.
when you need it.
Yeah.
Whether it's friends, family, a therapist, a support group.
It makes such a difference.
It really does. Because
Oh.
even though this is a personal experience,
Mm-hmm.
you're not alone.
You're not-
And that's powerful. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Thank you.
Take care of yourself.
We'll see you next time.